If you would like to sand this flat, you can add any type of material you would like to build a tip overlay up. But that's not necessary. Rather, this is how I'm gonna do it. Measure a 1/2 inch down, like so. Flip it to the other side, and measure 1 1/4 inches down. Then connect your 2 dots, and that's the line we're gonna put our string groove in. Now that everything's connected, got a chainsaw file here. I've all filed in about 3/4 the depth of the chainsaw file, which will equal the depth of a bowstring so that it's flush. But that's not it for this side. I want to take out this section. That way when we draw the bow back, the string has somewhere to go. Okay, now the string can freely move. Flip it around and repeat on this side. Okay, both sides are filed in. So it's functional now. Now we just clean it up and the rest is looks. With this style, I have 2 principles. One is no sharp edges, so little pieces of sandpaper like this to file the string grooves will be great. The second principle is don't cut all the way through the bamboo on the back. Besides that, feel free to style it however you like. Now, if you're going the tip overlay route, the biggest key is that these surfaces are flat when you glue it together. So I'll rub the limb on a belt sander onto the bamboo, and then I'll grab whatever material I want, make sure that's flat, and then just use wood glue to clamp these down. Once your tip overlays block is on, you can shape it just like the other method. The main difference though is that you can cut into the tip overlay quite a bit. So I'll cut into the back of it the same depth as I did the side so that the bowstring is inlaid into the limb. The creative freedom is endless with tip overlays. See, this one here is an old one I did, but this is a type of horn, and I thought it would look good to make it real pointy. It's fairly common practice to have the bottom one more round and the top one more pointy. And for traditional old self bows, that was so that you know which way's up and down. But here that's obvious because you've got an arrow rest and you're probably gonna write your poundage and things like that and sign it with your maker's mark. But on a single piece self bow like this, with the handle being uniform, you're like, oh boy, does it go this way? Does it go this way? Check the tip overlay. Oh, that's square, that's the bottom, the top's pointy. Feel free to take 10 minutes on the tip overlays or go nuts and just, I don't know, do something out of the box. It is less about the functionality and more about looks, especially with a bamboo backing. With that said, technically more mass will slow down the limbs, but it's very, very, very small amount with the amount of tip overlays we put on. If you were to do something larger, something wild, could slow down the limbs, but what I'm getting at is don't worry about the functionality with this bow. As far as the tip overlays go, make something that you would enjoy looking at, or that fits your building needs right now. But if you do something unique like this, every time you look at it in the future, you're like, yeah, I'm glad I spent the time on that. That's a nice touch. Hey, here's some tools I recommend for this. If you like carving and have a Dremel tool, something like one of these, here are some bits that are the most useful. A bit like this can replace your chainsaw file. A sander like this can replace your rasp, and a flap wheel and a burnisher can replace sandpaper to a degree. And then finally, this roll of sandpaper is great. This sandpaper is really cheap, and the nice thing about it is you can roll it out, rip it if you're strong. Goodness gracious, that was harder to rip than I thought. But here it is. So you can rip a small piece here, see, small sliver, and it rips down vertically. So now you can grab this and file or create your own little inside the grooves. So this sandpaper is great. So those are the tools that I recommend. If you're doing it by hand, a fine tooth rasp or file, a chainsaw file, and some sandpaper, and a sandpaper roll. Here's some different tip overlays. This one's bamboo with clear fiberglass. This one's an Osage one. This one has Osage and fiberglass. Walnut fiberglass. That one's a mix of something. This one's unique and different. And this one's as plain as you can get because the red from the sealing the end is still there. This one's a sinew wrap because of the sinew on it, and it comes to a fine, fine point. Also, there's more variations up there. In the end, it's what makes it so fun is because even if you're making the same style of bow as somebody else, it is yours. You're building it, it's customized to you. And it makes it so cool. And the moment you shoot it for the first time is a experience that is one of the highest moments I've experienced. Especially when it doesn't break and it shoots great, and then you practice with it and you're like, this thing's awesome.